Yeah, late game is going to be tough for OG, but I think as with any OG timing, OG drafts, they have a really, really clear timing of like, once they get Blink Daggers or they have the vision tools, they have nighttime, they're going to really be able to put pressure on T1. And T1 really doesn't have any like pick-off to respond with. All their spells are cooldowns. And then OG is going to make sure that they never have all 5 of their cooldowns up at once and just constantly bring the pressure to them. Force them to fight without ults.
Yeah, it really comes down to how does OG control vision. That's where the strength lies. Because sure, T1's team fight's going to be great, but what if they lose a couple of towers? Like, I remember something. Oh my god, I forgot how much these guys spam Ghost Lines. It's been a quiet couple of games.
It has.
Moon Meander was a huge Tinker spammer. And I never forgot what he told me like way back when in 2016. If you want to beat Tinker, you got to kill his towers. If you don't do that, like you just get stuck. Like there's going to be a Night Stalker on a high ground, TP is coming around. It's just very annoying to play the game if you can't kill Tinker towers, and that's something you've got a real issue with, I think, as T1, because this draft is just a bit slow and very level dependent. Until level 6, your first 4 heroes you see at the top side of your screen just simply are not effective.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think what's going to be interesting is just how do they fight back during the OG timing, and how do they fight without their cooldowns, because I'm imagining they're going to greed up on a lot of heroes. I think interesting things to look for is Kuku going to go Midas? It'll tell a lot about the game. And then what will Mag build? Is he going to go for some Blink route, like Tread's Blink, or is he going to go into some Echo Saber?
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of overlap in the T1 heroes about how they want to farm and control the map. Like, both Mag and Dusa kind of want to farm Ancients. And how they decide to distribute that is going to be interesting to me.
No Tail using his strength as a Legion Commander level 1 to try and snipe away the boundary, and doesn't get that. Puts a little damage onto Zephyr and Kuku. It's always, I feel like the T. If I was playing against T1, I would never give them to. Just because of the versatility of them being able to play it on Carl or Kuku. And also it just seems to fit very nicely into their combination of team fight and the way that they're able to scale with this hero. Like,
yeah, it's also just one of Kuku's best heroes. Like, he loves playing Doom. I'm surprised it took him until day 2 to bust it out. And bottom line, like, I think you're gonna be pretty happy with this. Like, Doom just kind of farms against Tiny, right? Like, I don't see him dying to LC Tiny Lane.
No, I think he's gonna be fine in the lane. I think.
Oh, he's got a. That's first blood. Zoxa commits for it. Oh no. 23 Savage thought the Fairy Fire was going to be good enough, but because he was caught in the brambles, it was too much damage.
Yeah. No, I think OG's draft is not really about the lanes. I think that this game is going to come very much down to, like, can OG force T1 into such a small space on the map that their heroes can't get farmed?
Well, another concern I had is you picked Magnus into Tinker, but that matchup's very Tinker favored, isn't it? Like, it's kind of the dream, you know, for heroes like Storm, like Tinker, where you're high range, high damage. And there's no real offensive threat Carl can output. So long as Thompson doesn't, you know, just straight up get skewered into tower, I don't see how he doesn't effectively get all lasted. But right now he's already doing incredibly well. 10 CS by 149.
Yeah, I didn't fully understand this pick either. But it'll be curious to see how it plays out.
Oh, he tried. Doesn't quite get it though.
Because you also had, like, the tide already. Like, I feel like, well, we'll just see how it plays out. But I feel like your late game is kind of already secured. The Tinker was the huge issue, and I don't feel like Mag addresses it.
Yeah.
You would have preferred, what, a more active, like, Puck, Lina, Quaps type hero? Is that what you were looking for?
I actually was thinking about Zeus.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Zeus is, like, my favorite hero against Tinker, just because you find him immediately, and then with Aghanim's, like, you interrupt the rearm or the TP very easily.
Do you think they were more focused on the durability of their mid laner versus Night Stalker Tiny? Like, were they just not looking at Tinker and being like, we want to focus on these other heroes?
It's possible, but the thing is, like, I feel like Zeus is really nice against Night Stalker too, because your big issue and what OG's advantage is, like Aiden was saying, is vision. And that's the part of the game that T1's draft kind of suffers in, because you'll have all this team fight, but you're not going to have any method of using it unless kind of, you know, OG's going to effectively have the initiator's advantage in every fight. They're going to be able to pick and choose their battles.
I would agree with that. I think for
Oh,
me,
we got him! Shockwave skewered back into the tower. Does have the laser on him, so he couldn't actually put any damage during that time.
Yeah, I think for me, I was looking for something that gives them a little bit of pace. I think their draft right now, like if you're playing Phoenix or... It's just hard for them to start stuff off. They kind of have to react to OG constantly. So I was thinking more something along the lines of like Ember, Void Spirit, which are not necessarily great heroes for the game, but I think it makes T1's draft come together. And it gives them a hero to play around, a hero to enable them to make moves and stuff.
I see that.
I think for me, I would imagine that's what they're thinking about this mag. He's probably going to be more of like a Blink initiator with Horn Toss and like... Probably just using RP to get kills for them and punishing OG when they go too deep.
Cuckoo opted for the mana burn creep instead of the bigger Satyr.
Tiny's a low mana hero.
Yeah. Oh, look at... Oh, man, no tail. I like that. Controlling the bottom rune and just annoying Carl. Because this... Like, look at Tops now. I love this, where he's just kind of controlling the top side of the hill. So, Carl too low. If he runs for the rune, he dies to a rocket laser. But he's going to deny the full wave before he runs for it. Look at this. Like, not even watching other lanes. Just love watching this mid-matchup. I think Thompson, for sure, is going to be the winner. Or, well, reason his team wins or loses. Although Sumail is enormous down bottom. 30 and 11. I did not expect this lane to be so successful.
Yeah, OG's lanes are doing really, really well. Even the top lane, Night Stalker's winning during daytime. And it's about to hit night. And he has lane control. So this is not looking great for T1, I think, as a start.
This is actually crazy. Is that supposed? I guess the first blood, right? But Seb is going like straight Vanguard too, and now it's nighttime, and suddenly this is a level 4 Medusa that feels like he's in some serious trouble.
They don't even have like stacks or anything on the side of T1, so it's not even like there's a plan B set in place.
Yeah, and it's a bit too early for Dusa to leave the lane. You don't really want to leave the lane yet. You still want to be able to sit here and play pressure. And here's also the problem with not having any sort of playmaker in your draft. You don't really have the ability to shift stuff up. So once OG starts zoning these heroes off the lanes and you have to go into the jungles, suddenly the Dusa is taking mag space, and they're no longer able to farm these greedy heroes like the way they want to.
That's a really good point. Neither support really makes plays. They're just ult-dependent team fighters. And I think about the necessity of taking a Tinker's Towers to obtain map control. How in the hell are you going to do that if you've lost all 3 lanes? T1 not out of this, but OG are certainly in control. Nice tree toss there.
No tail. Is he going to be burnt out? He will, and Zephyr is going to survive. Over the side, Carl having to skewer away. Picked up the Invis rune, so it should be okay. Whitemon. And Carl, he might go for it. He will. RP underneath the tower, still has a shockwave ready to go, and that is just enough to get the kill onto Seb. Thompson takes a little bit of damage on his way out as well. Quite a bit of damage, in fact. So nice pickup for Carl. Good use of his first RP.
Oh no! Thompson just TP'd to, he accidentally TP'd. I guess it actually doesn't matter at all, but he TP'd to the tier 1 and then just King Conveyance back to base. So I guess it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. He had a TP scroll, so.
What are you looking at me for?
Your face looks beautiful in profile.
Oh my god.
It's a side profile, right?
Yes.
He told me about this.
Yeah.
Kyle, you shouldn't look dead into the camera anymore. You should just always be looking at me or Aiden.
Here's the side.
Yeah.
So it seems like neither team was able to do anything with the catapults. Deuces are cheated into the jungle, and I think this is like OG's goal. They want to force the T1 heroes just more and more together, force them further and further into their own side of the map.
Oof! That was just a bit too much damage for Carl. Didn't expect that. They still have the Siege Wagon alive too, so they can do a lot in this mid lane.
Darkness pop top as well. Savage.
Running him down. They're going to try and TP in to bail him out, but it's not going to be good enough. It's a Tidehunter ultimately. He doesn't provide a stun to stop Seb. He just keeps running him down.
Wow.
Yeah.
OG are just owning right now. And it's only 4-3, but if you look at the map, it just... They own everything at the moment. However, it's kind of what the draft is required to do, right? They need to be the playmakers. They have to be the ones kind of forcing T1 into uncomfortable spots because, it's a Doom going Midas. It's a Medusa. At a certain point, they're going to be plenty strong. But I actually think the biggest item for them is going to be at a point when Cuckoo has both BKB Shivas. Because he just has to find Tinker. If you Doom him, that is likely going to be enough to win you the fight. As Thompson gets very close to his Blink Dagger, farming up stacks. Oh, Fairy Trinket. Perfect.
Very big pickup.
So T1's going to hit their timing around 10 minutes. It's going to be daytime, and both their supports are hopefully going to be level 6 around then. And that's when they're going to be able to fight back. For now, they're just like kind of trying to get as much as they can out of the map until they get 6 supports.
Come on, gotta get a run over here. You're not gonna allow this support to be able to sit in and soak up whatever creeps push in. T1 scout out the stacks here, but not much they can do about that ancient stack.
Tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
I'm curious. So I've not seen Seb do this in a while. He used to do it on.
Savage needs some help. He's dead. He is out of mana. They're gonna TP in now. Maybe Carl can actually bail him out. Not in time. He might be able to get the kill onto Seb, pulls him back in with the RP. He's going to get stunned, but the tower might be able to finish off the job. Zephyr, we can maybe get him with a fire. Oh, getting cleansed just at the right time. Dives forward. A couple more fire spirits. The Sunray going out, but it get canceled by the Void. Carl had that haste rune from the bottom, and that is going to be enough to be able to get that kill.
If there's no haste, he just lives there.
Oh, look at Carl! He knew that Tinker was doing the smoke laser trick on the Ancient stack, and he's going to take the last 4 of the Ancients.
This is huge for them. This is slowing down OG's timing a lot, and it gives them the gold they need. But the hero that we have not talked about at all is Tiny, and he's just farming out of his mind.
True.
Oh, no, he was so close to 6 there. He would have got a easy duel, but yeah, it's a good point for Maiden because Sumel's just untouched. He's going to have Echo Saber complete and on the way 10 minutes into the game. Yeah, you can see though, like I think that's very telling that the golden XP is so firmly in OG's favor, but the win probability is relatively even. And it's because this is the state of the game, it has to be. Like if somehow T1 are like winning lanes and taking early towers, they can just kind of sit on the lead, farm triangle and eventually take a W, but now is the time. Tinker has a Blink Dagger, trying to make moves.
Hitting Cuckoo. They catch him in a bramble. I think it would definitely die, as is the fear. Might still be enough. The burst damage is so much. If he gets out of vision, maybe he survives. Tinker Thompson does not want to chase that down. Cuckoo will survive.
Huge.
Yeah, so now they know that Cuckoo has to go back to base. I would expect Thompson to go top immediately before the Doom is ready to fight and try to apply some pressure here to enable them to go for this push.
Darkness ready, as is duel.
Whitemon huddling back in the trees. He really is just trying to soak up experience. He's going to show himself, trying to keep Seb from tanking the tower, but he's going to make sure the Siege Wagon stays alive. They're going to bring in the Doom for this one. Seb, they're going to be able to get the Doom off on him, so they're not going to be able to get off the Darkness first. He is going to get a bit of a bumper and heal, but the rest of T1 have already sandwiched in. He's dead.
Yeah, but that's Doom down. This is a timing for OG now to try to make some move. I think this is kind of expected for them. They know that they're going to have to bleed some kills to these cooldowns, and then it's all about how do you capitalize on these minutes where Doom is down.
Exactly, because it's also they know for a fact he's teleported top, so you could see Soxa down bottom pulled off the creep wave, and now they see that Savage has TP'd down here, so suddenly perhaps that's a potential place to exploit. Because Tinker is going to play corners. He can be any side lane he wants. And you can see Nota with these wards. He really wants to get a duel off. He knows he's there.
Sneaky ward from Zephyr there. Scouts out everything.
No Tail's coming. He's going to dive away and is very likely going to die anyway. I don't think he wants to pop Supernova, but at the same time, if he doesn't, he's also feeding away dual damage to No Tail. Mid lane, looks like they managed to catch Soxa. It is going to be another one of those big cooldowns that you were talking about, this time for just 4 position. And a whole bunch of heroes showing as well.
How strong is Tiny, like in the Medusa matchup?
I think if he's 2 items ahead, he'll be strong no matter what matchup. And I think that's kind of like the way the heroes playing right now. So it looks like he's going to reach that point, I think, if the game continues the way it is now. Yeah. And this is during, you have to keep in mind, this is during daytime. OG's playing daytime right now. And T1's not really finding the kind of fight where they wipe them in exchange for 2 other cooldowns. And I think that's kind of what they're going to have to do here at the mid-tier 1.
Yeah, Carl is going for the Echo Saber still, so one of the initiation tool. I'm very concerned with how in the hell they're going to find this Tinker.
Yeah, I mean T1's just banking on like we're gonna outfarm you over time. You guys might win some fights in the early game, but we're just gonna try to get as much gold as possible.
They're going to get the Brambles, immediately try and get the silence on a 23 Savage before the Stone Gaze, and they did get it. The Supernova is not going to be enough clearance. They throw out the Ravage as well, clipping some heroes. Sure, they're going to be able to bring back No Tail to his death, but OG, they still have plenty of firepower left. With 2 big cooldowns down, they're just going to keep on going. They get the vision, Whitemon is dead, and they can still scout out some more. Thompson, he could just keep on chasing like this. Good read by Carl, got hit by a Void, immediately teleported out, knowing that they were out of stuns. Cuckoo, the really big kill. They get Thompson. Thompson is doomed. They're burning him out right now, but they can't actually keep any heroes on top of him. Is anybody going to be able to get there? Soxa, he's going to die. Traded out for Zephyr, and it looks like Thompson will survive through this doom. It is not enough damage.
That was huge. He had, that was like literally just as it was off cooldown, doom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's, if they get that kill on Thompson, that's enormous. Like, Sumail's not even playing Dota yet. He has 156 CS at 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Shadowblade. That is the fastest one I've seen.
It's very, very fast. And they're about to make this map very, very small for T1. You're going to notice T1 heroes are going to fall closer and closer to their triangle. And that's all that OG's trying to accomplish. And then they're going to try to force fights when they know that they don't have cooldowns or when they feel comfortable with their own items.
And I've played in this sort of game as well, where
Team's in trouble.
Cuckoo is going to be real quickly bursted down between the combination of this trio. Fast kill, and Thompson can just be anywhere else on the map he wants to. T1, as you said, they don't have a way to catch this Tinker, so he could just constantly be applying pressure. Even if he doesn't kill someone, right? Sending him back to base is still a win.
It's so hard to play Dota when you just don't have playmakers.
Yeah. This is why I would have liked something like Ember or Void, right? So they can fight back in these early engagements, so they don't have to always run away. But they're really banking on, like, you know, we're going to go late. At some point, OG has to breach high ground, and that is very difficult against the heroes that they have. Breaching high ground, I think, is going to be very, very hard. So OG need to keep this pressure up.
Seb dodges the shockwave, otherwise may have been pulled back into RP range. But because of the nighttime vision, the superior vision from Seb, they're being able to get the occasional rocket damage in.
I actually really like the Vanguard just because, you know, his job, he's a living ward. So he's just running in. Like, he doesn't necessarily need to do damage, just keep vision for his Tinker.
Pops Darkness now, and immediately goes for the silence onto the Tidehunter. Supernova goes down, so Seb immediately knocked back down, slowed down rather, can still fly into the trees, but he's going to be hit by Carl. RP down to low ground. Nice Sphere going out, but the Ravage is going to be able to catch Seb and stall the rest of OG just a little bit. Not enough for Whitemon to survive. No, he actually doesn't get hit by that tree. 23 Savage, lost most of his mana, but OG just a little bit too spread apart here, didn't focus down one hero.
Yeah, so in exchange for almost all their cooldowns, except for Doom, they get the 1 kill on Night Stalker, and OG has basically everything ready. They use the NS ulti, but it doesn't matter because it's nighttime. So I expect OG now to like tempo up and try to really squeeze them into the triangle.
They're just going to stay on enemy jungle. Push him out. Toss.
Yeah, he certainly got him.
Yeah, this is the trouble, because with cooldowns down, suddenly you're afraid. And if you look Dire Vision, if you don't mind putting your Observer cap on real fast, tap, you see nothing. And suddenly, duel. Yeah.
Duel. Not that it matters too much for a 5 position, but hey, more duel damage.
Yeah, but like suddenly the lead is 6k because in these moments, you know, he's just not farming anything. Like, you can't play the map safely because Thompson can be everywhere, and Seb is almost permanently off map.
Yeah, and Nota's just moving his hero in positions where the enemy team wants to be. So you see he runs to the triangle, make sure that they're not farming there. They drop some sentries and some wards. Now they are going to keep track of it, and eventually they're going to zone them in, and then they know where they are, and they can just pick them off like this. They know there's no fight back until Ravage and Egg are up. They know they're not going to get contested.
Yeah, the support duo of T1, like that's what they have with those cooldowns. Like, without them, like, if you look at the Tidehunter, 3 points Kraken Shell. He has 2-point Gush. That is his contribution to a team fight with no Ravage.
Yeah.
And it's just a tough spot for T1. Sumail is enormous. He is Silver Edge with Shard queued up. He's like 2 minutes away. He can't even buy it yet. But that's what's next in his progression. That's how far ahead he is at the moment.
Dire are scanning.
Echo Saber for Seb, and look how deep they're playing.
As you said, tempoing up. The Supernova's going to go down. They're actually going to go for the egg here, and it is going to die. But maybe they can catch some of these heroes while they're right next to the tier 3. Oh, the duel before the skewer. He knows he was going to die either way, most likely. So if he goes into the base, so he might as well duel, draw out some time, and will eventually die, but allows the rest of his team to go wherever they want.
Space created.
That was a lot of space. I think he was hoping that they would throw an RP on him or something.
Yeah. It's a bluff though. You know, like they get the kill, and he's just playing. You know, you've got to figure that they're gonna pay for it at some point. They're playing in between tier 2 and 3. Look at the warding that OG's got. Certainly use this nighttime to full effect. The triumvirate of wards to control this area. No triangle available for 23.
Yeah, and once they scout out the triangle, they know that T1's not there. That means they know exactly where they are on the map right now. They know they're playing in that jungle, and they're just getting themselves ready to force the engagement whenever they feel comfortable with the lanes and the positions that they have.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Axe finished on Tinker.
Oh boy.
TPing in to bottom lane. The Night Stalker is cutting the wave behind here. Doom shows up. Doesn't want to doom the Tiny. It looks like the Darkness sees the Tidehunter TPing in as well. Actually cancel that and back up. Looks like they're giving up this tier 2 tower. Between the Darkness damage and the Tiny damage, it'll fall pretty quickly here.
So the only thing T1 really has going here is that they're going to have a very long daytime, and I think they're closing in on finishing items on Carl and 23 Savage to be able to at least take a fight.
Yeah.
So this next team fight is going to be really important. I think the coordination between the Ravages and...
Dude, look at them! Tier 3, that doesn't mean much to them apparently. If they can keep the vision, maybe the Tinker can finish them off with rockets. Not quite good enough. Seb had to back away, and slight heal from the Phoenix is good enough.
Yeah, no. I think the BKB Doom is kind of critical, because you saw there where he was going for a play onto Sumail, but because he didn't get it right off the bat and Sumail was able to reposition, like he just can't make the play anymore. So this at least allows him to potentially rush through OG's heroes. They only have the duel to pierce BKB and potentially just find Thompson, because if you Doom Thompson and just run at him, especially with the War Stomp, I'm fairly certain he just dies. Because then you throw Egg on top, Ravage appears, and things get a lot simpler for you. And yeah, Blink on Carl as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard for him to get past the wall of Sumail. That's kind of like the trick here. You got to get past the Tiny, past the Night Stalker, and right now you do have an opening, because there's no nighttime for a long period of time. Seb used it like right before the nighttime ran out, so it's about a minute here that T1 has to try to find themselves a good team fight. Or they're just going to use the smoke to secure vision. It's also a good way to set yourselves up for a future team fight when you know OG's going to come at you.
Well, if you look at the XP, it's not as brutal as perhaps expected, but you know, Sumail and Thompson 17 and 17. Carl and 23 at 14 and 13 respectively. This gold lead's grown slightly for OG. They can't really get Roche at any point. They do it far too slowly and really just not an objective. Like, you don't want to go force 5-on-5s. You want to keep the map split. As you said though, it is daytime. Darkness was on cooldown, so they're content to just chill for a bit.
I think T1's actually quite happy with this. I think T1 feels like they've survived like the hardest part of the game, and they're now reaching a point where they can actually play Dota.
Yeah.
And while OG's accomplished a lot and they've really been able to slow their farm down, this is going to be the real test. This is the part of their draft that's very hard to pull off. And can they now still beat T1 in fights? Are they strong enough to do it? So they waited up the nighttime, they have the nighttime now, and now they're invading into the jungle.
It's a really good point, because it's impossible for T1 to play Dota for like this entire game thus far. But now BKB very soon on the Doom. You actually have items, and it's finally the time of the game. Maybe you can look to force a team fight. Shard up on both Tiny and LC.
Darkness going to be popped here as they look to be able to finish off Roshan, zoned down by the Brambles as well. They're just keeping these heroes back while Roshan falls. Aegis picked up for Sumail, and T1 very likely just going to have to back away.
That was really nice from Seb and Soxa, though. They just cut him off with the choke.
Yeah, they had very nice positioning there, where they were positioned far enough to where their smoke doesn't pop, but close enough to where they see them if they're trying to run down the ramp.
And that was also right before the BKB timing of Cuckoo, which is probably a big reason why T1 was also so hesitant about trying to get to that Roshan pit right away.
And you can see they spam the Night Stalker missing because Darkness is on cooldown and it's daytime. So they know this is a window for them to...
Carl's gonna get caught here, and Sumail does a lot of damage. They immediately RP him. Cuckoo,
fear.
nice fear coming out from Saksa. Catches Cuckoo as he TPs in. One core pickoff turns to 2, and add a support into the mix. OG trampling all over T1 now.
How did they catch that?
Sumail, I think it was just running for the creeper, if I'm being honest.
And he just found a hero?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. He tanked the RP. Cuckoo tried to get the Doom off. Did not beat KB. Sox with a great double fear. And then everybody just dies because that's a Tinker. He's just there. Okay. Maybe that's lulled into a false sense of security. It's daytime. You don't expect that to be the move, and there's just 5 OG heroes standing there. And now Tiny gets to hit buildings. And they know there's no RP.
A Tiny that also has the attack speed from No Tail.
So this is really smart. They put the brambles down, and if you watch how Sumail's standing, he's positioning himself in a way where it's hard to blink in to get the skewer back.
Yep. Carl, he had to try and blink around the bramble and skewer through it, and wasn't able to find the opening.
And basically what happens there is, of course, like, he understands that he can't blink into the bramble, so he's going to have to reposition himself. But that gives Sumail more time to see the mag under his vision, come in and like try to position himself correctly, which makes it easy for him to get that toss off because he sees him running towards him to blink in.
Yeah, it's just so funny watching Sumail play this style. He just tranquil Soul Ring, Shard, spamming.
Yeah, No Tail's feeling himself.
Sumail running the headlong in and is immediately popping the press the attack shard from the Legion Commander, easily dealing with any of those stuns. 23 Savage may actually just be dying here. They know he's in trouble. They're going to pop the Supernova. The Ravage too. They barely catch the Tinker, but it's not enough. They can't actually skewer him, that's for certain. They've been feared away. Zephyr, he's going to be dying.
Still couldn't get the auto attack off. The combo was enough. Seth came into the finish, and now they solar crest him. Like, this is just the thing. Tiny has become a lone druid bear, if not better.
Yeah, stronger at this point. Yes, OG, they don't seem to struggle at all. Like, even though T1 now had the chance to fight back, they just seem to be commanding these teamfights exactly the way they want them to go.
It's too much damage. Like, T1, I think, kind of have to start a fight, but they very difficult with absolutely no vision.
Yeah.
Because like that engagement began with Sumail just right-clicking with LC buff onto a Doom that still did not use BKB. Well, I don't even know if it would have helped because he just got right-clicked to death.
They're going to need a monster skewer RP combination, and even then, a whole lot of kiting. And I still don't know how they're going to be able to deal with that Tinker. Sumail down to half health, but that'll be easily fixed thanks to No Tail.
Yeah, I feel like the problem here is, like, even if OG decide to back off, which I don't think they are, there's just no way that T1 are breaking out of base. The map is so small for them. They're not getting more items than they have right now, so this is going to be their best opportunity of finding a good fight.
One more minute left on the Aegis. Sumail is just going to force things here on a second lane of barracks. Missiles forcing T1 back to base, thanks to the advantage of nighttime vision. They're going to have to smoke just to be able to get close to a good initiation on OG here.
Have they, just to confirm, chat wheels, they added those emojis manually, right?
Yeah. You can customize that.
Next level.
Bouncing lasers all around. Cuckoo is losing health fast, trying to get away. The BKB still holding on to that Doom and playing around the Supernova. They're going to have to go for a reset again here. They took away the Aegis at least. Thompson, okay, really wanted to be able to get that Cuckoo kill, and he is going to get, not Doom 40, they don't need it.
They're just getting the Mega Creeps, it looks like.
Yeah, they're going to try, but they're immediately going to go back in here. Carl does manage to try and go for the skewer, actually. No Tail defends himself with the press the attack. Seth playing on the highlights here as he's going to go for the kill onto the Tidehunter, trying to prevent the Ravage that is just now coming up. Skewer over onto Saksa here. Saksa, he still has the RP. They have to be careful of this, but they actually do help Saksa get out. So many brambles, now silence. Carl's in trouble. Sumail is here to finish him off. The Ravage comes just a bit too late. They might be able to finish off Zeb. They will. but it's going to be costing them 2 at least. Now they get the duel off, but Sumail, he's just going to keep on swinging on these heroes. They are getting torn apart by 23 Savage and kited around a little bit. Sumail has nowhere to go, so he's just going to commit for the kill on a Cuckoo and continue challenging. 23 Savage is up next. Now the Doom is faded away, so he can throw out the Avalanche, and Jesus, Ultra kill. Rampage on the way for Sumail. The King is big and back in play here at TI. Rampage for Sumail, and T1 are not going to call it just quit. They're going to be able to double rampage for him. Give him the triple, perhaps. Saksa helping him out, trying to keep Cuckoo in place here, and T1 are going to call it here. They get the kill on Saksa first, and that is it. Triple rampage. Sumail finally gets it.
Woo.
OG dominating T1 here in game 1. In what was, I think we